Communication agency based in Leuven, Belgium and Amsterdam, Netherlands. I talked today at the Congress here about real-time campaigning and what does that mean for brand development. It's maybe a new way of thinking, maybe a new way of creating content for brands, but also by brands, and I think that's an important element. I tried to explain a little bit what real-time campaigning is about, and some important elements I touched upon were data, how to work with data. There is a lot of data out there in this digital world, but a lot of advertisers and brand and agencies don't use data in a proper way. Data can give you a lot of insights and also a lot of momentum to create a different kind of content in real time. So on the moment that things are happening because they are triggered by some event that's out there that generates data, and those data can lead you to other kinds of content. So, and that's the second part, the improvisation part. There has to be much more room on agency side and on brand side to create content through means of improvisation. So not everything is planned months or weeks up front, but just by the things that are happening, by the data that is coming back from your audience, you create other kind of content, other kind of output. And so more flexibility, more adaptation, more live event is becoming much more important. And then a third part of the presentation is more about the process and organization. You need to adapt because you need to work in a much more leaner and meaner way. Organizations are often, even in agencies, very silo based, and processes are very linear, and they go from one part to another, and we have to adapt as much more what we call a newsroom model, where people sit together and different kind of competences come together to work on a much higher speed and to produce a certain content that is a reaction on a certain event that is being triggered. So that was the third part. So that was more the theoretical part of the presentation, and then I tried to explain this a little bit more by the use of a very known case in Belgium, which is the campaign that is going on for the moment, a real-time campaign for the Belgian Red Devils. It's a national team of the Belgian Football Association, and they are doing their qualification matches for the World Cup in Brazil 2014. And we developed a real-time campaign, which is a campaign of an interaction between the supporters and the players. And it's called the Devil Challenges. And every match there is a new challenge being announced, and that creates a lot of content by the supporters and engagement with the players. And there is a lot of improvisation during this campaign. So we know certain elements. We set the fire by certain elements. There's a spark, and then things occur, and the team, both on the client side and the agency side, they start working with this content, and so the campaign emerges in ways we could never imagine ourselves. And that's the beauty of the campaign, because it's being picked up by the media and being spread out all over the country. So it's a very known case, and for me it's the best example for the moment of what is called real-time campaigning and brand development in a modern way. So that was in a nutshell what I talked about today. So what we every qualification match being played, we present a new Devil's challenge. And so, for example, one of the challenges was color the country red, and there was a match against Holland. They are very known for coloring their country always in orange. We don't have that tradition. So people were challenged for doing as creative as possible coloring the country red. And so this was launched on Facebook and via other social media being spread out. And then people create their content, so they do crazy things or not crazy things in coloring the country red. They post it on Facebook, and other people react upon it. Or we, as agency and the advertiser, we take a piece of content and do something else with it. And that's a nice thing, that something that happens is a starting point for a new event that occurs. So, and by this, we grew in social media an enormous group of people. Like in less than 1 year, more than 100,000 people on the Facebook page, and started on zero. It also generates a lot of content that is being picked up by the mass media. So we have over more than 500 articles already in the press, and if you compare it to the previous campaign that was before the Devil's Challenges, there were 13 articles about the campaign, and now we have already 500 articles only about the campaign, not mentioning the fact of the football players in the match itself, just about the marketing and the campaign. So, and most important of all, it never happened before that all matches are being sold out. Even if we have to play against teams that are, not the most attractive teams, Macedonia, for example, the stadium is being packed and sold out. And for the last match, the tickets were sold faster than for the concert of the Rolling Stones, their last tour. So, which is a major achievement that it was being sold out in 2 minutes. So. What was also interesting in this real-time campaigning approach is that we don't spend that much on paid media. Actually, it is bartering because the Football Association has media partners, so it helps to, if we do something, a TV commercial, then it's being aired. But the campaign generates a lot of earned media, and so this way of doing campaigns via real time also helps to keep the budget low, because the Football Association doesn't have the budget like for the big brands, Coca-Cola or Nestle can spend in buying media. So we had to be more inventive to reach our audience, to engage with our audience, and this way of doing campaigns is a good way to also work around a small budget. So most of the budget, almost all the budget, goes into the production of the content, which is totally opposite from as it used to be. Normally, more than 80% goes to the media, and now like 80 or 90% goes to the production of the content for this. If you look at the Belgian market, we can see, of course, digital is everywhere. But we're a small country, and advertisers, and certainly in times of crisis, have to be aware of their budget and how to deal with their budget. And we see that, for example, in digital advertising, the market is still growing, but maybe not at the speed of bigger countries. And that has more to do with how to spend the budget. So that's on the digital media part. But on the other hand, we see, of course, an enormous growth of social media and use of social media also by brands, and a lot of content that's being created and being distributed via these channels. And I think, there Belgium, and like I explained a little bit, the campaign of the Red Devils is a good example of being, with small budget, being inventive and use of digital media to nevertheless achieve the goals of building a brand or reaching or engaging with an audience.